Welcome back to another episode of the Federal Church Presents Better Than Bloomberg. We're continuing our coverage of the 2023 global financial system collapse, the worst in history. Saw another good note here from Zero Hedge, especially one describing the hopium. Today, as PPT was working its magic, levitating stocks from the dead, with printed money to make everybody poor through inflation, as European and Asian markets were tanking. The First Republic Bank, the next bank to fail, had its shares tanking. First Republic Bank shares crashed to new record low. JP Morgan chases Dimon, reportedly leading another rescue effort. So after having dumped $30 billion of deposits into the First Republic Bank last week, and the bank then being rumored to be pushing for a capital raise, the Wall Street Journal reports that JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon is leading discussions with the chief executives, other big banks, about fresh efforts to stabilize the troubled regional bank. This is another case of the hopium. This is just like I'd said. There's nothing of value in these banks. Simple depository institutions that couldn't even manage that. And now they're insolvent because they got hosed on toiletries, on the dipshit trade, and any other debt they bought. So now, nobody in their right mind would ever be dealing with that bank. Among the options on the table, the people said is an investment in First Republic by the banks themselves. And again, what was the headlines for the hopium today? Oh my God, Credit Suisse finally got bought out, or bailed out. 2 years later, 3 years later, after it started having troubles. Oh my God, the banking system is now safe. No, it's not. Credit Suisse has nothing to do with anything with SVB, First Republic, Signature Bank. These are all banks that are insolvent because of the dipshit trade. There is no systemic contagion, whatever, not at least not directly with all of them. There might be with some of them a little, it'll take down whatever it was interconnected with. But this isn't Lehman. This is dipshit. And there's a lot of dipshits running banks these days, or in the last probably about the last 4 years that they should have known better. Speaking of dipshits, and Credit Suisse being bailed out does not save anybody, especially anybody in the banking sector in the United States. And even the big banks will go under because of the derivatives trades that are going to blow up with these dipshit trades. So, among the options on the table, the people said, is an investment in First Republic by the banks themselves. The plans could involve the banks converting some or all of the $30 billion in deposits into a capital infusion, some of the people said. And again, so you're just throwing good money after bad. So now you put $30 billion in there. The bank is still insolvent. FRC shares are down over 45% this morning at a new record low. As a reminder, the San Francisco-based bank customers have withdrawn some $70 billion since the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank earlier this month. This is exactly what we need done too, by the way. Another gay area bank to go under. Just make the marketplace a much better place. Gone some $70 billion since the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank earlier this month, the Wall Street Journal previously reported. The twist is that JPM, which has hundreds of billions in excess cash and can be very generous, will soon be the largest creditor of small banks. positioning it in perfect spot for the coming debt for equity swaps. JPM replenishes FRC deposits, the bank run risk is over, but not the insolvency risk. Or not a risk, it's a guarantee now. It's insolvent. JPM will have to keep topping off any incremental dollar because it will be the bank that receives said dollar. So First Republic shares are currently limit down whenever he wrote this. And again, as the hopium was going around, people who are pretty much talking out of their ass, they have no idea what's going on. Another example of a bank imploding. And there will be many other banks in the coming days. So now, the bailout of a Swiss bank that was already in trouble a couple years ago is not going to change the fact that there are hundreds of banks in the United States that are insolvent. Not going to change that fact. And it is not a matter of systemic risk. It was just a matter of the system having a bunch of dipshit managers in it. And they went the wrong way on the trade, and their bank is insolvent. None of this, well, basically absurdities that I see and hear when watching, Bloomberg, for example. None of this changes that fact. And they're still going to be insolvent and eventually be dissolved. So you are in the worst financial system collapse in the history of the world. Not an exaggeration. Which is also because you did not make your donations to the federal church Bitcoin wallet below. Because had you done that, you would not be in this mess. Had you not thought that you were going to screw God out of his tithe, you would not be in this mess. So make sure to make your donation.